Welcome to For the Record, an unfiltered view on current trends and timeless advice for surviving in the aesthetics industry. Whether you're an injector, practice owner, sales rep, or marketer, it's time to set the record straight. Each week we cut through the chaos and showcase diverse perspectives and winning ideas from the best minds in the industry. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Hall, Chief Growth Officer at Aesthetic Record. Now, let's get started on this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to another For the Record here at Aesthetic Next 7.0. And we have with us today who I always call on my social media the queen of all things aesthetics, and now all things longevity and biohacking and regeneration. But she is a world-renowned international thought leader, owns a beautiful practice in California, Beauty by Dr. Kay. She also has an amazing skincare line with a great lip plumper, my favorite lip plumper of all time, by the way. She treats influencers. She's on panels and podiums. She's at the table with different manufacturers talking about things coming to market. She really is the do-all, be-all, say-all of aesthetics. She's my queen for short, Dr. Kay Durairaj. Welcome to our podcast.
Oh my God, Tiffany, what an introduction. I can hardly live up to that, but I'm going to try.
Well, I've known you for a long time.
I feel like I'm here with my queen. Honestly, the way you've developed this meeting is outstanding.
Well, thank you.
What a visionary.
Well, and you've been around a little bit longer than I have. I've been around for about 10 years. I don't know how long you've been in aesthetics. What's your practice time at this point?
I graduated residency in 2000, actually. So it's been 20 years, 20 something years of facial plastic surgery, really heavy on the surgery in the beginning, then went deep into injectables. Now I'm huge in biostimulators and I'm all about molecular level beauty and cellular beauty, how to innovate for the next generation of what we need to do in aesthetics.
Well, that's one of the things that I want to talk about because I think you are a quintessential innovator. So it starts with plastics and goes into more injectable, now the biostimulators, into biohacking and all these other things. You're reinventing yourself all the time, which I think is what you have to do to survive. How do you come to that decision? Because you spent so much time in plastics in residency and fellowship to now be kind of changing direction. What does that decision feel like?
I still have all my foundations, and I think I have so many baskets, and I think every practice needs to do that, where you have multiple revenue streams and multiple talents, and sometimes you're really heavy into one, and other times it's not. This summer has been the summer of upper eyelid blepharoplasty, so I had a ball with that, and I'm still doing lots of surgery, but I also feel like as a woman, I'm not sure I want to go to surgery. I want to do everything possible before I have to go to the operating room. And so I want to work with that mindset because that's who I am. And I know how women are and men too. Like we want to have non-invasive rapid recovery procedures. I like to innovate myself every few years. I'm just that kind of person. Like I'll take down the living room and rearrange it. I get tired of my old self. I have to reinvent myself. And you have to do that for your practice too. You have to keep relevant and exciting. I think that's a big piece of advice, to have so many buckets running all the time. And then going with what's trending, like your patients will tell you what's popular, what's not. You drop some things, you bring on some others, and just keep on trying new things.
Well, I think it's also being a lifelong learner. I mean, you're a person who adopts quickly. You're usually an early adopter. You get really good at something really fast. And I think we look at our population, even just in aesthetics, and there's such a need to learn. And the technology is moving so fast and so many new things just with AI. I mean, I know you're a big AI person as well. You just have to be constantly learning. And so looking at your day, because I know it is packed full of things, where do you make time to do that? Because I feel like that's part of your core offering is that you are an innovator. But when do you make time for all of that?
I think it comes from like training and residency, where knowing how to do long, hard hours and putting in the after hours. Every day I'm reading for 2 or 3 hours, brand new literature, brand new science. And like you, I have so much respect what you're doing with AI. You also push the envelope with that. It's like, I go deep into a subject and I try to master. I'll put 20 hours into learning that, 20 hours of podcasts, 20 hours of reading, 20 hours of trying. The big thing is trying. Like people know about stuff. They just don't dive deep and actually put their hands in it and play with it. But I like to do that. I'll read the original articles. I'll get the product. I'll talk to the founder. I will like really understand inside and out what I like, what I don't like. And then I'll kind of like go long and hard on the things that work, which are like loving the collagen stimulators, loving growth factors, polynucleotides, exosomes. I really think there's so much to learn right now. But I also think aesthetics is at a little bit of a disadvantage because we have to teach a whole language of molecular biology, science, remember DNA, remember RNA, nucleotides, all of that has to come back into play. And you have to be very glib with the terminology and like learning AI. You have to learn how to do things from the ABCs, right? Teaching longevity. Feel like people were so interested in that, but they're also a little scared to come into the room because they don't have the vocabulary yet. They don't know about senescence. They don't know about telomere health. Maybe they don't know about mitochondrial cytochrome factors. And, there's so much to learn.
Well, I think we did a panel yesterday on longevity, which you were fantastic. And I was telling another KOL today, Kate Goldie, that I feel like the attendance was not packed because people are scared. They're like, I'm going to wait to learn what I needed to learn, and then I'll go watch that on the virtual because I don't know what I'm watching yet. Where I'm like, I don't know anything, so I better show up. Like I have a different mindset of like, if I know nothing, I should go learn what I should be learning when I leave here. And I think the panel yesterday was so important because this industry is moving to that direction. And I will tell you, this is the God's honest truth. Radius, I was like a no-go until I watched you inject it and talk to you about it. And I was like, okay, if Dr. Case says it's good and it can work, I'm all for it because I didn't understand, 10 years ago, I didn't understand carrier gels and biostimulation. I knew Sculpture. I didn't know Radius. So you were a big part of me figuring out that Radius is like this amazing product and that it does amazing things, but you've kind of always been cutting edge. But I do feel like in your practice, you're watching, I'm sure for you too, the HA, go to Sculptra, go to Radius, go to some more of these other things. What is that journey like for you? I mean, are you excited about this change of the filler kind of leaving the market?
I'm very excited, but I've always said you need to be an injector that has many colors in your palette, many tools in your tool belt. So like, I'm never going to give up my HAs and they have a very solid place. I still do under eye filler with a gel. Love my HAs for temples and even for like hyperhydrating in the neck. I'm a huge fan. And I think I've done a ton of Sculpture over the years, a ton of Radius, and I'm discovering really the intricacies of what these products can do. The speed of regeneration. Is it true regeneration? Is it volume change? Like what are we actually seeing? So there's still so much to be discovered. I really feel like marketing messages dilute the science a lot. And I really want to go deep into the science. And like, I don't want to work for any company. I want the science to talk to me. And that's what I want to see in our injectors. I want to see this audience look at the real hard science, and then that stands on its own. There's no controversy about it. You see histology that's real, and you see genetics that's real.
Well, that's funny you say that. We have a panel here this morning called Controversies and Conversations, and I'm the same way. Like if the science says it's real, we have an N that's high enough to say it's a legitimate result. We know what's going to happen. It's kind of hard to argue unless there's some weird nuances that this is what's going to happen. Marketing messages are great, but manufacturers want to sell product for profit. The science is the science. I think that's one of the things going internationally. I know you do a lot of international meetings, is they've had it before we've had it in many cases. They have the science, they have the numbers, but you got to go ask the questions. And I think you're very forward in saying, I want to know, give me the answers. Where do you go to find that? Where would you tell an injector today to go get the science? What's your big resource pool that you use?
I'll always come up to the company and ask for their insights. And mostly they will hopefully have some white papers and research that's supportive. Obviously, it's skewed. So I'm very much a skeptic. Like, I want to see the hard, cold facts. I'm like, nothing scares me. I will always do a deep dive into PubMed. Now I'm a huge AI user for my research. So everything from ChatGPT 5 to Grok, where you can upload 2,000 pages into Grok. So you're wanting to learn more about biostimulation, upload the last 50 articles, get
a meta-analysis. It does all the meta-analysis tools that you could never do.
You can make your AI agent an expert on biostimulation. And I have done that. And I'm super.
And it pays off. You have great results. I mean, it's working.
It's super interesting what you can do with AI. I don't know. We're not going to be the same. Humanity is not going to be the same in the next 5 years.
And I think leaning into it, people are nervous about AI, much like they are longevity studies. If you use it and it benefits you, there's nothing to be scared. I mean, there's always limits with everything, but I think you've harnessed it even clinically, looking at, procedures and diagnoses and kind of what to do next. And you're using it clinically in a lot of different ways. So I'd love to hear about that because I think you were really an early adopter in the clinical relevance of AI. So give us an idea of kind of what you're doing with it today.
Well, I'm still surprised that AI is a little bit behind in aesthetics and facial plastics, and like medicine in general is moving ahead quickly in cardiology and ophthalmology and dermatology. You can evaluate skin lesions pretty nicely. But in aesthetics, we're kind of Mainly, I'm using AI, like I use Perfect Corp, which is an AI a screening scan. In 7 seconds, it can give you 12 different parameters of skin health, including pigmentation, red spot, fine lines, pores, everything. And it gives a skin health index, which is very useful to put in the hands of your patient. So while they're there, number one, they're impressed because you're using high level tools. Number two, you're giving them like scientific measures of their skin at the start, recommending some skincare and then upselling some skincare. And then also when they come back, I can compare their results. We do Quantificare for full face scanning, which looks at 3D volumetric analysis. And now I'm doing hair metrics, which is really nice AI for measuring hair quality and hair loss, thinning, interfollicular distance, follicle, thickness, and all the measures. So patients come in and they get all this free information. It's like I'm giving you your full entire analysis of your face, your hair, your skin, and what I think we need to do. So like that's a value add. Like how do you compete in this day and age when there's so many clinics out there and everybody's trying to compete on price point? I don't want to do that. I want to compete on this is high level, super technologically advanced analysis of where you are in your place in life. And now that's also going to include biomarkers, just your biologic age, how are you actually doing with your overall health parameters and longevity picture?
And people will say, because I hear it every day, well, it costs money for that. But think about cost per acquisition, cost per click. When you run ads, it's expensive to market, right?
Really
It's
is.
very expensive. This is such a different investment because patients who've been coming to you forever now have a surprise and delight when they come in and they see all these things are happening now.
Yeah.
What a way to re-engage, to upsell, to convince them that what I said you needed all these years, you actually need. And see, here it is.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's a trade-off. Like I can send it on marketing ads that may or may not land, or I can offer this amazing benefit, to your point, this amazing value that will, like, you can't argue with the science. You can't argue with, what it's showing. It's like a true blue thing. So
and it's your existing patient base. So you already have that patient in the chair and that their hair is thinning. Like every woman has this problem. So pointing out your new things that you're doing in your practice to next level it's wonderful. And I get so much word of mouth referrals because they felt really cared for from the high level all the way down.
So you mentioned hair. I think hair is a big opportunity for all of us, me included. My extensions are in. That's not a thing that you traditionally would have thought about as an aesthetic clinic, to be looking at hair. Like we didn't think about that 10 years ago. Now it's, I think, a big area. You're doing a lot with it. So walk us through how the hair vertical is kind of emerging in your practice and what you're seeing as the future of that.
Well, I bought this AI system to analyze hair, and then I realized, like, why am I just saving it for certain patients? I really need to be screening everyone because if you have hair loss now, if you have a healthy head of hair, great. So I give everybody a hair score, a report card for their hair, and they love it. And when they see the close-up zoom of their scalp and the skin health of the scalp and other things, it just motivates them to get moving. So we're doing that. We're doing some hair follicle stimulator injections, everything from topical microneedled polynucleotides to PDGF to other growth factors. Super fascinating to see the results and the improvements. And it's next level compared to what PRP can do, and even way better than PRF.
When hair is a market that's not changed in like decades. And we've had PRF, PRP, we've had minoxidil, and it hasn't really done, I shouldn't say hasn't done much. It does some things, but we've had obviously some vitamins and things we can take. But I think the today hair follicle market with PDGF, PDR, these are big changes. Like we're seeing crazy good results. So
yeah,
if you're balding today, it's a good time to go bald in 2025.
It's never a good time to go bald. Never. But it's interesting too that like broad spread use of minoxidil, which is available through online and direct to consumer now. I think that's helped people a lot, but more than just topical minoxidil, topical products, like they need to get on the oral version of minoxidil. And now we're seeing an epidemic of Ozempic hair, right? We see Ozempic face, Ozempic hair loss, Ozempic butt, Ozempic boobs. It's a thing.
And we used to have COVID. I lost a ton of hair. I had COVID twice. I lost a lot of hair the second time around.
Yeah.
I'm a very healthy hair person, and I've never thought about hair until I had COVID. And it was like, oh my gosh, what if I lost my hair?
Yeah.
And so now I went into my clinic and I said, hey, I need to know what to do with this mane to keep it intact. But I would have never thought about that. But there was a life-altering event that happened. And I think in our clinics, we discussed this yesterday on the panel, you get so much more time with the patient in the chair than their derm or their cardiologist. You have a lot of time with them in a consult and in treatment
you are their like full doctor, whether you want to be or not. You're their full, you're their
Yeah.
PCP, their OB-GYN, you're everything all in one.
Their life coach, their therapist.
And it keeps adding on lines to the practice. Is more,
Yes.
I hate to say more revenue because that's not the goal, but it is the goal at some point. You got to stay in
Yeah.
business. But if you think about the next foray, like outside of hair, where do you think we're going? I know it's going to be something with longevity. What's the next big thing that we're going to be rolling into in our
Well, it's
industry?
interesting because I feel like the stepping stone to the next big thing is women's health. So it's estrogen. It's like making us all aware in aesthetics that 95% of our patients, and we see mainly women, we see 95% women, but 95% of those women over 50 do not have hormones. They don't have hormones. They don't even realize they need to be on hormones, and they don't have a doctor or a source to get on hormones. Like it's such a really a shame of modern medicine that the whole women's health initiative knocked estrogens out of the lives of this last decade of women, right? Women getting into their 50s and 60s and not having hormone replacement. So I think we have a huge conversation, and that when we start that conversation, we draw the blood work and look at the hormones. That's the opportunity to go into longevity thinking, right? Because then you're going to also draw a lipid panel, a hemoglobin A1C, a thyroid testing, kind of an overall health parameters for everything going on in all organ systems. And then it's a simple thing if you're a provider to write a prescription to go get a DEXA scan done, or some people have bought DEXA machines for their office. That would be a dream. But I'm loving that idea. And then seeing where people are nutrient depleted, your ferritin is low, your B12s are low, your vitamin D is low, and giving that as an IV drip, that's been an easy transition for our office as a first line. It's like, okay, you're here, you're numbing. I know you're deficient. Let's take up your glutathione. Let's get you some GHK copper so your skin's going to really, really look great. And let's add your whole B complex. And like people leave feeling restored, like somebody loves them, someone cares for them.
And it directly connects to the skin. I mean, if you are internally healthy, your skin obviously looks better. I mean, you're better. But I do think what you mentioned about women, every woman, unless there's some genetic anomaly, will go through menopause.
Yes.
Or will lose hormones. Like we know 100% without 99.9, we will all have it. But we will over-index on like cellulite treatments or these things. That doesn't affect everyone. But we know this is going to be a problem for all of us. And we're all, if your clinic is heavily, like I'm a Gen Y, Gen X kind of on the line, I'm right there. You know, I'm within 8-9 years of being in full-blown menopause. I need help today. And I don't know enough. My mother didn't have any help.
No, our mothers were so freaking silent about this.
Yes.
They did not say a word. They suffered silently.
So we're just like a generation that doesn't know. We don't know. Our kids will know, but we didn't know. We didn't see. We were told, suck it up, sister.
I know. And I actually feel like so many of us started menopause and are like 38, 40. Like you have these early symptoms that you just kind of dismiss to you're exhausted, you're running around, and you're not. You're literally losing functionalities. And like, I think brain fog is the biggest one that impacts you. Like you hit your 50s and you're like super recharged to reinvent your life, but you're like, what is going on with my thinking clock here?
You know, word recalls. No, it's not recalling today. Well, I've been looking at creatine gummies. That's kind of my new thing.
Those are great.
And I have no progesterone. I think that's a big part of it too. That's a lot of my brain fog. But the vitamin deficiency, I think for me, I look at our industry and say, if I have big lips, big cheek, I shouldn't say big, if I have great lips, great cheeks, no wrinkles, that's wonderful. But if I can't remember what I did with my car keys, I feel tired. I don't want to have sex. I don't want to engage with people because I'm just over it. What's the point of all of it? Like at the end of the day, to me, aesthetics is the cherry on top of a healthy life or a healthy, vivacious or vibrant body. One without the other doesn't make a lot of sense. So I feel like it's such a great combination for our industry because they do work so well together.
It's so true.
It's a compliment to each other.
It really is. And in fact, it complements our procedures because when I'm doing biostimulators on estrogen poor skin, I know I'm not going to see the vibrancy and bounce and return of quality to that skin, right? Like you honestly need to pre-treat the skin. And I've looked at studies that have shown like estrogen treated skin with surgery and estrogen poor skin with surgery. And this fibroblast and the collagenization is crazy different. Like, and as soon as you add estrogen back, you get reorganization, restructured collagen, beautiful wound healing. I almost think it needs to be a pre-treatment to going into surgery. Get your estrogen corrected because then you're going to heal better. And also pre-treatment to all our procedures, getting collagen stimulators. You're definitely going to grow your collagen better if you have estrogen talking to all your cells.
When we talk about sculpture, get it early before you need it so that before you start depleting, you're already replenishing. I mean, there's a whole mindset around that. I started doing sculpture when I was much younger than I am now. And I think volume-wise, you don't have the rapid step off that you have with an HA because you're putting something in the platform. I think this is kind of the same thing. Like you're pre-treating the area. It's like primer for the paint, on your wall.
Exactly.
You gotta prime it before you paint it. So I think I think it will be what we all end up doing, or we all end up thinking about going into the next 5 years. Like this is just, it'll become a standard practice. Like, yes, of course, we look at hormones. We look at, whether it's BHRT or it's shots or creams. That's always a big area for discussion. But do you do any actual hormone replacement therapy in your practice?
I actually have decided that I'd much rather talk to you about your rhinoplasty and your blepharoplasty, not your hormones. I will bring up the topic. I'll order all your labs, and I'm going to refer you to a really great. I use a company called MIDI Health, and I don't work with them, not affiliated, but just I think that they're excellent, and they are online. They're in all 50 states. They see you on your medical insurance. How refreshing that you can use your insurance for something you really need. And they'll do virtual visit, and their providers are so well trained in assessing women in perimenopause and menopause, and they're fully equipped to deliver you everything. Progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, you'll get it like within a week. And I think that's what women really need right now. And so if you have a great provider or OB-GYN, good, that's wonderful. I asked my own OB-GYN for that, and they literally gave me the speech like, this is what's supposed to happen to women's bodies, that you slow down and you don't need to have all that estrogen. It's dangerous. So it's the incorrect thinking. And it's a whole generation of OB-GYNs that have been trained that way. So I love MIDI, and it's joinmidihealth.com. So check that out if you don't want to. You have to decide what you want to do. And like that's, I think, so important for my patients' health. And I'm going to turf that to the best providers out there for it. And same with like cardiovascular disease, and I'll order your lipid panel, but then you're going to go see a specialist, right? So
there's so
you have to know your wheelhouse.
Yeah, you could literally do all the things. I mean, everybody has a need, every patient. I love the idea that's like, I'm going to be really amazing at the things I love to do, and I'm going to prepare you for what you have to do next, but I don't want to be the one to prescribe your hormones. And I think we do have
because you have a responsibility then to check their mammograms, to make sure they're not getting endometrial cancers and other things. And like, do you really want to, don't half-ass it. If you're going to do it, then do all the steps of that.
And be responsible and do it all. But I do think as we look at competition, you mentioned that earlier, people have a fear that I have to do everything to compete. I think you have to do a few things really, really well. Yeah. I don't think if you do everything.
Intimidating. If I was new in aesthetics and I was like, oh my God, I have to do polynucleotides and exomes and hormones and like, you got to go back to school for all that. And also, don't do that. Just take on one thing at a time, become really good at it. Right? Don't you think?
I couldn't agree more. Or hire a person who does that as a specialty, who's part of your wellness center.
Yes.
And they do the mammograms. That's what they're equipped to do. They don't inject. They don't do the other part. I think that's the other option is if you don't have the talent in-house, hire it out and let them do what they do and be okay with it being sort of a mecca of all kinds of things, not just.
Love that. Like build a women's center.
Yes. And I think that's going to be, if I look at integrated health models, I feel like the dermatology, plastic surgery, internal medicine, kind of all coming together is where competition-wise, they'd stay in your moat. They don't really leave your moat. But again, it's not you having to do all the things. I just think that's impossible and improbable to think you can do all the things. It's just not real.
That's true. Like right now, I'm trying to learn peptides for myself. And I think that's also a lot of pressure. Like people feel like they need to be biohacking and trying everything that everyone on Instagram is doing. And I really think we need to slow down, read the science, and make sure you try it on yourself. Try one thing at a time. Try it for a full month and make sure you understand how your body's reacting. And is it a good or a bad thing? Like you may decide doing peptides is crazy and you can't handle shots every day. It is a lot. Even
is it every day shots?
Mostly every day or sometimes twice a week. Ooh. Some of them are twice a week. And
I'd forget.
Yeah.
Without a brain fog, I'd forget for sure. I didn't do it.
For sure.
I need to take the peptides.
Twice a week. Like VPC 157 is twice a week. GHK copper kind of twice a week. There are other ones that are more on the regular, but
the VPC 157 is on everyone's tongue this week. Everyone's talking about that.
Yeah.
That's a big popular one. And you're taking it.
I'm taking it. I love it for kind of the faster healing effect. As you get older, you notice like you cut yourself shaving, it takes like 2 weeks to heal where it used to heal in 2 days. Or little things like joint, ligaments, you stretch something wrong and your back's tweaked, and like all of that improves so much faster than ever before when you're on BPC. And then you can do it orally. You can also do the IM or IV shots versions.
That's on my list. After this week, that's on my list.
Yeah.
I want to switch gears.
That's something the body makes internally, and you make less of it as you age. And so I feel much more comfortable with that. There are quite a few papers out there written on it. So I try to stick with peptides that have some research behind them.
Well, I'm switching gears entirely because this is one of the things about you that I think is so fun to watch. You have celebrities in your chair all the time. You have big influencers in your chair all the time. We get asked at Aesthetic Record, how do I get those people? How do I get to that level? And I feel like you are just a magnet for star power. I want to know what that's like. Like everyone coming to you because you see their faces on TV. Like I did that one, I did this one, I did that.
It's so mind blowing.
Yeah. So I just think give us peel back the layer of like in your mind what it's like to be like the celebrity face doctor of the stars. Like what does it feel like?
I mean, it's really an honor and a privilege and I really sympathize with these actresses and people that are on the big screen because honestly, your face is blown up to such high size. You get criticized in every single angle of every picture you take. And so my mission is to help them look really their natural best. It's all about confidence, honestly. And I don't know how they find me. They find me from actually the gram. They send me DMs.
I'm
it's
sure.
kind of crazy. But I love it. And I'm just really honored to take care of them. Sometimes I'm like starstruck, but mostly I'm not anymore because they come in their sweatpants and they come like regular people. And then you meet them in real life. They're really mostly very lovely people. And then the pressure, I would say there's pressure involved in taking a beautiful face and making it exquisite and like flawless as if nothing's been done. And some of them have had a lot of bad work ahead of time, ahead of me touching them. So I'm always like trying to improve and like give them all their best assets, the best emphasis. So.
Well, I think that's one of the things I think is so cool about what you do is I've seen several that you have, just in passing that you've worked on, and they look refreshed, they look natural, but they look very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And your work is being judged by millions of people every day.
Yeah.
And if that celebrity is getting flack because of what they look like,
yes,
eventually it's coming to you.
And they're also so very open. I always ask because I'm that way. We're like, can I put you in a video? And you have to, that's a point for your followers there and listeners. Just go for the ask because if you don't ask, it'll never happen. And you just never know. Sometimes people are in a happy, good mood, but celebrities are like gazelles. If you ask at the right moment and you just jump on it and you could do it. And otherwise, if they get scared quickly. So I'm never about pressure, but I'm always so delighted that sometimes they'll share their journey. And like, I never thought they would, but now Kris Jenner sharing her facelift, who was her surgeon. There's so much more transparency. It's so refreshing.
And I think they're used to hearing yes all the time. I think the beauty of coming to you is you're going to say no when they don't need it.
Yes, and I'm going to dissolve where they need to. And I'm going to be super, very honest. And also I'm going to make them feel like this is your aesthetic home. And always you need to come to me for anything and everything. And like, that's how our patients should feel.
And I think this population's at risk because if you're the person who's treating a celebrity because they can afford everything and they can do everything, they want you to say yes. You want to say yes.
Yeah.
But then the problem compounds because everyone's seeing it and you should have said no and now your name is on it. So I do think it's a lot of pressure. I think you handle it beautifully, but you have all the influencers, all the TikTok girlies on all the time and your skincare line is blowing up. It's always everywhere. Yeah. And you got your morning collagen in your coffee, which I'm always watching you put your collagen in your
I'll
coffee.
send you some. It's so good.
Every day I'm like, I need to get the collagen in my coffee. But I think you've just done a great job of building a business that has so many verticals and ways to, if one thing is low because of the season, the other thing is high. I think you mentioned Blessed Summer. Who would have ever thought? I need to get one myself. But maybe injectables are slow, but surgery is busy. I just think you've diversified in a really cool way that's connected. And it's not like you're doing different things. It's all sort of the same pool of people, just different needs at different times. So
yeah, I think you have to teach yourself that when you're in aesthetics because sometimes the phone doesn't ring or your schedule's not fully booked and you go into freak out mode. Like, is that it? Am I over? And how am I going to pay the bills? And all of that runs through your head. It still happens even for me. And I tell myself to calm down, back off and take a deep breath and enjoy the free moment because there's not a lot of free moments. And this is time when you can reinvent and be creative and be imaginative about where you want to go. Like think about the next direction. Like I'm always trying to think, like you mentioned yesterday that I lectured on biohacking 3 years ago. And I remember that audience was a little bit clueless. Like I felt like I was a little bit ahead of the time talking about what we need to do for ourselves. And now I want to teach us as injectors to take better care of ourselves. I love seeing that our audience has less filler face. Because remember when we used to come to meetings and it used to be like so much overfilling.
Elf cheeks and Marge Simpson lips. And
So like, I like that we're changing our industry too.
Some trends are bad, but the dissolving trend, I'm on board. I'm 100% on board with people
Yeah.
getting rid of all the bad filler. I think it's high time for that. But curious for you as you think about your next 5-10 years. First of all, you have a brood of children. I mean,
Yes.
you look like you've never had a baby in your life, and you've got a whole house full of kids who are all brilliant, doing brilliant things. Your husband's also brilliant. Your whole family of brilliant people. But you've got, I'm sure, a lot on your bucket list. What's your next big milestone thing that you want to do?
Well, this year I'm traveling a lot, so I'm really excited to go to Japan and Taiwan with the Anti-Aging World Congress out there and on the scientific boards for that. So I want to really learn what other countries are doing culturally and beauty, in the beauty horizon, because we can learn a lot from their approach. Like, I honestly think we need to bring more of that naturalistic skin glow, skin quality changes from Asia, Korea, Japan and Taiwan here, and even just longevity mindset wise. So I want to go to more longevity conferences and learn more of the cutting edge science that's going to happen at the cellular level, because that's where the next big innovations are going to come on targeted gene activation. Like, I'm working with a company called Immortal Skin that's trying to innovate this process of, like, let's figure out which genes are deficient as we age. Hyaluronic acid genes, collagen genes. Let's learn how to trigger and activate them so that maybe we can have amplified production of collagen and hyaluronic to our 20-year-old level. And imagine how great that would be to apply that product topically or inject it every 3 months and just boost everything back to your 20-year-old self, right? So that's kind of the next idea. And I'm also looking at products that will improve skin longevity, like topical rapamycin with Rapalogics as a company that's really innovating and making a selective mTOR1 inhibited topical that when you apply it is going to improve skin longevity. So I want to help to teach people the concept of skin longevity. What do you do to make your skin more resilient so that it bounces back like it used to when it was 20? We want to turn off mTOR, inhibit that so we can get, improved autophagy, less senescence, and then in turn more collagen and more structured, youthful skin.
We're going to end the bad and lead into the good. But Rapalogics, did I say that right?
Rapalogics.
Rapalogics. I always say it wrong, but I have a little bit of knowledge about the company as well, and they're doing some really interesting things. So I'm excited to see where you fall.
So innovative, yeah.
Very cool. I think the exosomes idea that, the little carrier of the male to the genes to say, do this, do that, whatever. I think there's some really cool exosome technology that will help with some of the genome mapping and things that are occurring. So to me, it's like what I said yesterday, it's a great time to be alive because we're at the cutting edge of figuring out how to turn age backward. I mean, to really reverse in some ways that we've never been able to do before. And it's not about just living long, it's about living better, which is always my pushback has always been, I don't want to live forever. I want to live awesome for the time that I'm here.
Yeah.
And I think there is a difference in like living forever versus like living. And I think I'm not giving up all the things I mentioned on the stage yesterday. The guy that lives in his like dark room, he has no food, he has no
Brian
friends.
Johnson.
I'm like, buddy, I don't know why
50 pills a day. Like,
that's not a life I want to live. It's just not for me. But he might live to be 155. I don't know. But if he gets, he'll be alone. So I think there's a difference. I think for our skin, it's very similar. I want to look great and I want to feel great, but not at the expense of like my lifestyle and having to do a shot every day. I wouldn't do that.
yeah.
So I think there's ways in what you're talking about that we can make this attainable for the average consumer to be able to do it. So I'm very excited to see
The
it.
good news is that our bodies like cyclical things. So you're on it for a little while and then you're off it. And then that kind of goes with the cell cycle and the biology of skin. So that works for me because I'll take my supplements religiously for a month and then I'll be like, screw this. We're all going to die anyway. I'm not going to take anything this month. So I kind of fluctuate.
I feel
right?
that. I really feel that at my core. I'm like, what's this all for? I'm tired. I don't sleep.
I don't know if this is working or not working. And like, there are certain things that I've really felt have been working well, which is like my NAD precursors. I won't go without them. My magnesium helps me sleep really well. Like there are certain things like the senolytics that I think are really important. And then hopefully we get to talk and teach more about that to everyone in our community. I want us to be the leaders, and I'm tired of biohackers taking this longevity thing to their platform because there's enough Instagram bros and muscled boys out there that are talking peptides and longevity as if they know anything. Number one, it's too male dominated. We need to have women's focus on longevity. After all, women live longer. And number two, we need to be talking on these platforms. So I'd love to lecture on that more. And then I definitely want to bring it into aesthetics. We are medical providers. We should not be letting influencers run this story. We need to show what's right, what's evidence-based, and what's the right, teach our patients how to live long and well.
I love that. So if you're listening to this, that's your homework. Go learn more about it so you can contribute to the conversation, but also I agree with you, lead the influencers into the medical promised land and not it's like
Not the other way
it's
around.
like the tech bros from my world. I'm like, what do they know about this? They don't build tech, from large scale. Same thing for this. It's like you've got to know you have to have a medical back. I think that the cellular science is just not a lay person's game.
Yeah.
It is far too in depth. And many of you are so brilliant that we need to hear from you. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see that 3 years ago, you were already on the cusp of what was going to happen and you were already thinking ahead. And it's obviously evident in your practice as it continues to blossom and reinvent and change even after all these years. So congrats on that too, by the way. You have a great business. You have a great staff. You have a wonderful staff who I all love dearly.
Thank you.
And I think you guys are just doing things really ethically and by the book. And I appreciate that.
Well, I'm
I'm a fangirl all the time.
so excited to be here with you, Tiffany. And I can't thank you enough for inviting me to come and present and lecture at Aesthetic Next. And I remember your very first Aesthetic Next, and this has grown into a full-scale multi-million-dollar meeting. And I'm like so freaking proud of you. It's incredible what you put together. I don't know how you have the bandwidth, but
We don't.
running a major company and then putting on this huge meeting. It's thrilling to have like another superpower woman right next to me.
Thank you. And it's the faculty. I mean, really it is. It's the sessions and the content. But I've loved having you on. It's been like a bucket list for us. We've all talked about it for many years. So have you sit down with us in the podcast. So I'm thankful that you came and that you're here and that you've been a big supporter of Aesthetic Record and of me for all these years. Because, I love what you do and all the things that you're about. So if you guys are not following Dr. Kay, go follow her. It's at Beauty by Dr. Kay. She's a great website. You've got a whole store. Get the lip plumper. I'm telling you,
bring you some.
I'm telling you, I always tell you this.
I'm wearing it right now.
It's the best lip plumper ever. Go get the lip plumper. But also just follow you to see how your business works and kind of the things that you do. But it's a great follow. Look at the website and catch her at her next podium somewhere, hopefully in a city near you. But thank you for everything that you do for our industry.
Thanks so much, Tiffany. Live long and prosper.
You
Love
too.
you.
And we will see you guys all next time at For the Record. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to another episode of For the Record. This podcast is not intended to provide legal or medical advice. It's for entertainment, education, and information purposes only. For more information on this week's guest or to get started with Aesthetic Record, email us at info@aestheticrecord.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more fresh perspectives on disrupting the status quo and surviving in the aesthetics industry.